Hello everyone and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Bold and the Beautiful, BNB, spoilers indicate that Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, may have a honeymoon surprise for Hope Logan, Annika Noel, but will family strife wreck it? Could surprising news compel Hope and Liam to postpone any upcoming trips? Things have been going well for Liam since he asked Hope to marry him again. Hope said yes right away, so wedding planning got underway quickly. Of course, this sparked Beth Spencer's Jordan Gracie delight, especially because Hope and Liam had agreed to let her be their officiant. The only obstacle so far has been Beth's concern about having Sheila Sharp, Kimberlin Brown at the wedding, but that won't dampen Hope and Liam's spirits too much. Liam and Hope are still going to marry for good this time, so perhaps their marriage will last. Naturally, we have to consider what might happen after the wedding. Will Liam surprise Hope with a honeymoon and whisk her away to a beautiful location? Hope has been working hard on the Hope for the Future relaunch, but the team could definitely spare her for a few days. Liam and Hope deserve a little break to enjoy the afterglow of their wedding, so some honeymoon goals may be made. Unfortunately, family drama can come in the way. Luna Nozawa's, Lisa Yamada, escape could lead to greater havoc, particularly for the Spencer clan. BNB has been giving indications about Katie Logan's, Heather Tom, heart troubles resurfacing, so Liam may need to stick around and support Bill Spencer, Don Diamont, through that as well. Hope may also be dealing with family troubles as Deacon Sharp, Sean Cannon, is on the verge of cheating on Sheila with Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig. Depending on how things go, Hope may be drawn into her father's relationship drama. Given the chaos that could throw Hope and Liam for a loop, they may have to postpone their honeymoon for a while. It may be better to wait until after Hope's fashion presentation, but let us hope Liam takes her on a post-wedding vacation sooner or later. Hope and Liam are finally back together after way too long apart, and they deserve a great reunion narrative. According to the Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, Liam and Hope expect their next chapter to last forever, so keep tuned for updates on how long they can remain a blissful pair. Liam had been planning the surprise for weeks, far more than he wanted anyone to know. He had rented the little beach villa before he had even decided to name it a honeymoon. Of course, the term was not quite appropriate. His and Hope's marriage had collapsed in ways neither of them were proud of, leaving dark corners of pain that they still didn't discuss, shadows cast by the soft discussions they could now have. But he only wanted one weekend where they could escape the pressure of everyone watching them, where they could hear the ocean rather than chatter, where they could stare at each other without the ghosts of what had gone wrong passing between them. He'd told no one, including Wyatt, especially not Wyatt. When his brother learned about anything concerning Hope, he would have questions he did not want to answer. But secret was difficult to preserve in Los Angeles, where families didn't stick to their lanes and friends kept score like referees. Nonetheless, Liam stuck to his strategy. Hope needed something good. Something soft. Something that wasn't another office hallway fight or a heated debate about their daughter's schedule. The property was secluded, nestled behind a row of cypress trees, with a big veranda facing the beach and a private road down to the sand. He had prepared everything: flowers, her favorite tea, a notebook for her designs, and a butterfly-embroidered blanket to remind him of the line they had created together. In the back of his mind, he worried that bringing something honeymoon-like might be too heavy or presumptuous. But he also knew Hope well enough to believe she'd understand the motive behind it. Time together without pressure. Healing, not pushing. What he didn't expect was how quickly everything could go wrong if other individuals decided to intervene. Hope had been at the cabin that evening, attempting to complete changes on a draft for her next design launch. She was having trouble concentrating. Her thoughts wandered too frequently to things she'd spent months disciplining herself not to think about, how she felt calmer around Liam than she wanted to admit, how the familiarity warmed her chest, and how their co-parenting evenings sometimes lasted longer than necessary because neither of them wanted to leave first. She didn't realize Liam had arranged a surprise trip. She wasn't sure what she wanted for the following week, let alone the next chapter of anything. But she desired honesty. Following the chaos they had endured as a result of other people's manipulations, Thomas's infatuation, Steffi's intervention, Brooke's warnings, Ridge's disapproval. Hope had made a vow, no more falsehoods and emotional shortcuts. That's why she froze somewhat when someone knocked on the cabin door. It was late. Liam always texted before stopping by. Her thoughts wandered, uninvited, to the few people who did not respect limits. When she opened the door, she saw Will Spencer standing there. "Hope," he said with the same easy assurance as all Spencer men. "Hey."
"Will."
She blinked. "Is everything okay?" He ran his fingers through his hair, his emotions ranging from apprehensive to obstinate. He wasn't a child anymore. He'd matured into the type of young man who spoke without hesitation and acted with spontaneous assurance, reminding Hope of Bill and Liam in various ways. This made her wary. "Can I speak to you?" he asked.
She paused.
"Shouldn't you be home?" "Does Wyatt know where you are?" He breathed sharply. "I am not 12. And, indeed, he does."
For the most part.
That told her nothing positive. "All right," she murmured cautiously, moving away. "But just for a few minutes. I'm working on something." Will entered the cabin, his demeanor unreadable. Then he turned to her in a direct manner that made her apprehensive. "I'm just gonna say it," he began. "You and Liam have been spending more time together. And I believe he is confusing himself again." Hope's eyebrows lifted. "How exactly is he confusing himself?" "You know," Will said with a shrug, "I believe things are heading somewhere. He thinks his relationship with Steffi is ended. Thinking he and you might." He made a vague gesture, redness seeping into his face. "Reconnect." Hope crossed her arms. She was used to receiving unwanted advice about her love life, but not from Will. "Liam and I are co-parenting," she explained evenly. "We are trying to be nice to each other. That is it." Will gave her a doubtful glance. "That doesn't look right," Hope said, frowning. "Why is this of any concern to you?" Will adjusted his weight, seeming conflicted. "I've been spending a lot of time talking to Liam lately. He sees me as a sort of sounding board. And he's working so hard to make things right again.
For Beth.
For you. For himself. But he is also terrified. He doesn't understand what you desire. And he does not want to get harmed again." A beat passed. Hope softened slightly, but she also experienced a burst of frustration. "Will, whatever's going on between Liam and me, if anything, isn't something you should be concerned about. It's not your responsibility." "I understand," Will responded. "But he is my family. And when family is confused, sometimes you have to step in." Hope began to respond, but something in Will's gaze stopped her. It wasn't just a concern. There was a deeper note, something fragile, which he was concealing with arrogance. "Is there anything else going on?" she asked gently. Will gazed at her, then away. "Maybe.
I do not know."
Hope sighed gently. "I didn't want him to get the wrong idea. I appreciate your concern.
Truly.
But this conversation is neither acceptable nor useful. Liam and I will work this out. You don't need to intervene." Will nodded, his jaw stiff. "Okay. Fine," but he did not depart. Instead, he moved closer. Hope stiffened. "Will, I'm not trying to mess anything up," he responded hurriedly. "I needed to see you." "To understand what?" she asked, perplexed. "Why does he look at you the way he does?" Will said. "It's too close now. Too intense." Hope took a solid step back.
"Will."
"Stop." He froze. And whatever impulsive notion was pulling him disappeared all at once. Shock replaced it. Embarrassment.
Shame.
I didn't mean," he gulped hard. "I apologize. I shouldn't have." "Will, it's okay," she whispered softly, her stomach clenched. "Everyone makes errors. But you cannot place yourself or me in a situation like this. Do you understand?" He nodded swiftly.
"Yeah. Yes."
"I understand." "Good," she replied softly. "Now go home." He stood still for a moment. Then he turned and walked away without saying another word. Hope closed the door, leaning against it and exhaling shakily. It wasn't dangerous. She never felt unsafe, but it was extremely inappropriate. She hoped he understood. She didn't need any more Spencer drama. Unfortunately, trouble was already on the way. Liam came in the cabin 15 minutes later. He carried wildflowers, which he hoped would feel casual rather than overwhelming, as well as a folded envelope holding the travel information for the surprise trip. He practiced a dozen possible responses: an invitation, not pressure; a gesture, not a demand; something hopeful, somewhat mild. When he stepped up to the cabin, he noticed movement through the window. A figure.
Male.
Young.
Will.
Liam's stomach sank. The evening's oxygen seems to vanish in an instant. He observed while standing too close to Hope. I saw Hope take a step back. I saw tension, not comfort. And something inside Liam jerked from perplexity to protective fear. He pushed open the door. Hope.
She turned, surprised.
Liam's voice sounded sharper than he intended. What's going on? Will tensed instantly, remorse etched on his features. Hope raised her hands, attempting to quiet the rising storm. Liam, wait. But Liam had already absorbed enough fragments: Will's position, Hope's look, the awkward spacing between them, to come to the wrong conclusion. Were you? His jaw tightened. Hope, was he trying to? No, she swiftly said. It's not what it looked like. It looked like him making a move on you, Liam corrected. In your home. At night. Will swallowed, wincing. Liam, you need to leave, Liam said abruptly. Will opened his lips to argue, but a glance at Liam ended it. He nodded, dropped his head, and slid away quietly. The door closed behind him. Hope inhaled slowly. Liam, that was too harsh. Liam repeated incredulously. Hope, he was standing way too close to you. He made a mistake, she remarked with gentleness. This is a poor one. But yelling won't solve anything. Liam paced, his rage rising over. Why was he even here? Why did he approach you about our relationship? Why, God, Hope, I walk up and see him practically. He's bewildered, Hope replied. He's struggling with issues we don't quite grasp. He wasn't attempting to harm anyone. Liam ran a hand through his hair, trying to breathe past the adrenaline that was still coursing through his body. I cannot believe it. I came here to do some good.
To talk.
I'm not sure.
Try.
Hope blinks. Try what?
He stopped pacing.
I met her gaze. And all of the well-practiced words felt unexpectedly brittle. I wanted to take you somewhere, he explained quietly. It's just a weekend. Somewhere calm. Somewhere we could breathe. I had no intention of putting you under pressure. I just wanted us to have time. Hope's expression softened painfully. Liam, but then I walk in and see. His voice trembled with emotions he dreaded displaying. I don't want to get caught off guard again. I don't want to lose you again. Hope approached him gently. You haven't lost me. We misplaced each other. And we're each looking for our way back. But are we? He asked. Or am I imagining it? Hope paused, and Liam's heart twisted in the little moment before she spoke. I don't know, she replied honestly, but I want to find out, and I want to do it the proper way, without misconceptions, without outside pressure. Liam breathed deeply and shakily, without moments like tonight. I'm sorry I yelled. I know, she murmured softly. He gazed at her flowers in his hand, which were now out of place and had lost their timing. Hope stretched out and softly stroked his wrist.
Stay, she replied.
Let's chat. Let's start where we are. He nodded, the tightness relaxing just enough to allow something warm through. They sat on the sofa side by side, but not touching.
Not yet.
They discussed themselves rather than will, perplexity, or fear. About what they missed. About what needs to be rebuilt. They weren't ready to identify the future, but they couldn't leave it behind. The ocean murmured outside. The night wrapped around the cabin like a protective embrace. It was not a honeymoon.
Not yet.
But it was real. Something is beginning again, slowly and deliberately, despite all of the noise attempting to derail it. And for the first time in a long time, they both sensed the presence of something solid beneath their feet. Meanwhile, Hope Logan was tangled in silk sheets. She stretched languidly, her blonde hair fanned across the pillow like a halo, and smiled as she remembered the previous night. Liam Spencer, her husband, her rock, her everything, had promised her a once-in-a-lifetime honeymoon. After years of back and forth, stolen moments, and interrupted ceremonies, they were finally wedded. No more triangles. No more secrets. It's just them.
Or so she thought.
The espresso machine hummed quietly in the kitchen downstairs. Liam stood at the counter, naked and wearing low-slung pajama trousers, his dark hair ruffled from sleep. He was looking through his phone, a sneaky grin forming on his lips. In his other hand, he carried a little velvet box. Inside, a pair of diamond earrings he'd had custom-made in Italy and flown in overnight by private courier. The surprise wasn't limited to the jewelry. The itinerary was buried beneath the satin lining, a week on a private yacht off the Amalfi Coast, with no phones, relatives, or drama. Just Hope in a bikini, him in board shorts, and the Mediterranean stretching out like a never-ending promise. He took a quick glance at the stairs. She would be down any minute. He had intended to propose the trip over breakfast, with fresh croissants from her favorite bakery in Santa Monica and perfectly chilled champagne. He had already practiced the speech. Hope, you've given me everything. Allow me to offer you the world. But the world, as the Spencers, Logans, and Forresters were well aware, had a habit of interfering. The entrance door flew open with the power of a hurricane. Steffi Forrester stepped in, her shoes clicking like gunshots on the hardwood. Her dark hair was twisted into a tight ponytail, and her crimson jacket was sharp enough to cut glass. Thomas trailed behind her, sunglasses perched in his hair, and a sneer on his face. Brooke Logan, Hope's mother, is bringing up the rear, clutching a garment bag like a shield. Liam. Steffi's voice cracked like a whip. We should talk.
Now.
Liam's grin disappeared. He pushed the velvet box into his pocket. Steffi, what the hell? It is barely 8 a.m. when crises occur in this family, Thomas said, leaning against the doorframe. You should know that by now. Hope emerged at the top of the stairs, wearing one of Liam's white dress shirts, the hem brushing against her thighs. Her eyes expanded.
Mom?
What are you doing here? Brooke's expression was one of mother rage and wedding terror. Hope, love, we have an issue. A major issue. Liam's stomach plummeted. He recognized that tone. Brooke had used the same one when she saw Ridge with Quinn, found Deacon was Hope's father, and walked in on, well, let's just say Brooke had a PhD in walking in on things. Steffi did not wait for greetings. She marched to the kitchen island, slamming a manila folder down like a gauntlet. Liam opened it with the words, "Explain this." The photographs inside are blurry. Hope, his Hope, was laughing at a Paris bar. With Finn, Steffi's husband. Their heads are close together, and her hand is on his arm. Another image shows them leaving together, his hand on the small of her back. Hope's voice drifted down, tiny and bewildered. These are from the buyer's trip. Finn attended the medical conference. We simply, just. Steffi's laugh was razor sharp. You just allowed my husband place his hands on you? In Paris? While I was home with the children. Liam's eyesight shifted. The earrings melted in his pocket. The yacht. The champagne. Everything suddenly felt like a joke. Hope descended the stairs carefully, taking each step deliberately. Steffi, nothing has happened. We ate dinner. One drink. He was unhappy because... About me? Steffi's eyes blazed. Because I wouldn't allow him travel to Paris alone? Because I trusted him? And you believed it was acceptable to play marriage counselor to my husband? Thomas went forward, ever the opportunist. Hope, maybe you should have considered how this looks. Especially after, well, everything. Hope looked at him. Everything? Do you mean when you kept my daughter from me for months? When did you fake a paternity test? Don't you dare to lecture me about optics, Thomas. Liam found his voice. It came out rough. Everyone get out. This is our home. Our honeymoon. We recently got married. Married? Brooke's laughter was brittle. Liam, love, that is why I am here. The marriage license, there is an issue. What about the officiant? He was not licensed in California. The ceremony was invalid. The room fell silent. Even the espresso machine appeared to hold its breath. Hope's face was robbed of color.
What?
Brooke's eyes were filled with tears. I'm so sorry, baby. I recently found out. The county clerk contacted me this morning. You're not legally married. Liam felt the floor shift. The earrings, the yacht, the speech. Everything is built on a sand basis. Steffi's victory was icy. Well, looks like the universe has a sense of humor, Hope said, her voice cracking. How could you not check, Mom? I did. Or I thought I did. The man claimed to have been ordained online. Brooke paused, recognizing how strange that sounded. We can fix it.
Today.
I brought in a fresh officiant. Judge Craig owes Ridge a favor. No, Liam's voice pierced through the confusion like a knife. No more favors. No more Forrester fixes. Hope and I will handle it. Alone. He took Hope's hand. Her fingertips were icy cold. Everyone leave.
Now.
Thomas opened his lips, likely to make a smug remark, but Steffi grabbed his arm. Let's go. This is their mess. Brooke hesitated and reached for Hope. Baby, out, Liam said. The term held the weight of every betrayal, interruption, each moment this family had torn itself apart. The door shut behind them with a finality that resonated. Hope slumped onto the couch and buried her face in her hands. I can't believe it's happening. Again. Liam knelt in front of her and drew her hands away. Her eyes were red-rimmed and dry. She was keeping it together.
Barely.
Hey. He cupped her face. Look at me. We are still us. Paper doesn't change that, she said with a tear-filled laugh. Tell that to the state of California. He dug inside his pocket and took out the velvet box. I opened it. The diamonds reflected the light like miniature stars. Hope's breath caught. Liam. I was planning to do this over breakfast, with croissants, champagne, and a speech I practiced in front of the mirror like an idiot. He grinned, but it did not reach his eyes. But plans change. So here's the new plan. We get dressed, drive to the courts, and sign whatever paperwork is required. Then we board a plane. Tonight. There's no family. There's no drama. Just you and me, and a yacht with our names on it. Hope looked at the earrings, and then at him. You planned a honeymoon? Even after everything? Especially after everything. He grabbed her left hand and slipped the earrings into her palm. I'm done allowing them to steal our moments. This is ours. She moved forward and pressed her forehead against his. I love you. I love you more. They kissed slowly, desperately, and promised. When they parted ways, Hope's eyes were radiant. But what about the photographs? Steffi is going to let her. Finn is a grown guy. If he crossed a line, that is his responsibility. Not you. Liam stood and extended his hand. Come on. Let's make this official. Again. An hour later, they stood in the courthouse corridor, Hope in a modest white sundress and Liam in the same trousers and button-down shirt he'd worn to City Hall the previous time. The judge, a busy woman with kind eyes, smiled as she called them husband and wife. Again. You may kiss the bride.